All right, good evening. We are live again. Current time is 7:01 p.m. I am Ryan, joined alongside below me is Joel.
What's up, everybody?
Let's get an audio check real quick, make sure we're all good to go here. We're live. We're going to discuss incoming snow for actually right now, and it's going to continue into tomorrow and even into Saturday as well. Not going to be a huge snow, but still enough to cause some impacts out there. But that's not all. We have more snow beyond tomorrow and Saturday to talk about as well. We have a very active pattern shaping up, as well as a lot of cold air coming in, probably some of the coldest air of the season. So we're going to talk it all out tonight and also discuss briefly what happened with yesterday's forecast as well, because that's a big sore point. People are talking about it today. So let's go ahead and dive in here. I see a lot of thumbs up in chats. We're good. So that's really good. Perfect. So I want to first start off and address the Southeast Michigan crowd that has been in our comment section all day today, complaining about the snow that fell yesterday. Now, if you do not know what happened or you're out of the loop, what happened was pretty much every forecast meteorologist, weather service in the Southeast Michigan area put out a forecast for yesterday's snow, about an inch or two at most. If you're in the Thumb region by Huron County, we had a little bit more expected up there because of lake effect. Elsewhere, we're talking like Detroit, Ann Arbor, Flint, Port Huron, that area, a general 1 inch or so was expected. Now, we had a 1 to 3 zone for the I-69 corridor over by the Flint to Port Huron area, that general region. But what happened? All right, let's actually look into the reports from yesterday. It's hard to see here, so I do apologize. I'll try and zoom in here as best as I can. But look at these reports out of Southeast Michigan. 4.5 inches up there by Sanilac County. We do have 6.1 there in St. Clair, Macomb County area. We had a nice little swath of close to 7 inches or so through Oakland County. We had a very overachieving event yesterday in Southeast Michigan. Taking attention off that briefly, over in Southwest Michigan, we had a couple reports close to 1.5 feet of snow. And just across the border in Indiana, we had a couple 20-inch reports come out of the South Bend, that area down there. Elsewhere in the UP, not bad. We had a good foot of snow there in Marquette, another 6 inches or so elsewhere around that general region. A good, I guess, thumping of snow, as I like to call it. But the main concern and main topic that people are focused in on is what happened yesterday. Why was the forecast so wrong? So the answer comes in two parts. The main part is the opening screen I had here. Look at all these forecast models. This is every single short-term model that we use to forecast snow. None of these showed anything close to that 5 to 6, maybe 7 inch mark of snow falling. Up there in the Thumb, yes, that was expected. But for a wide area of Southeast Michigan, nothing showed this. And the reason that we overachieved is due to one simple fact, and that is our moisture. The forecast models leading up to this event showed a very dry column of air behind the initial push of the snow squall, as we put it, that passed through early on in the morning. Behind it was supposed to be very dry, but in reality, it ended up very moist. And as a result of all that moisture that was not supposed to be there in the first place, it all fell as snow. And it all took aim over Southeast Michigan. Also, the low track. The low was about 100 miles south of where it should have been. That also aided in a bit more lift, as well as a little bit more ingredients coming together to create all this extra snow. Not one single forecast model got it right, and I promise you not one single meteorologist or forecaster in the area got it right either. This is a fluke event, but it also goes to show you Michigan weather in general is very unpredictable, and even the best in the business are going to get it wrong at some point. So first and foremost, we apologize to you guys, but if we could do it again, there's nothing that we would have changed the forecast, because there's literally nothing that pointed to this happening until it actually happened. So that's kind of what happened, and hopefully that answers some of you guys' questions about what happened there in Southeast Michigan. So putting that behind us, we have more snow that's incoming here over the next couple of days. So let's dive in here. Let's start with temperatures. We're entering a very cold pattern. Tonight will be quite cold in nature. We're going to be in the teens and 20s for the high temperatures. The warmest day looks to be really Friday evening. We're close to 30 degrees here. After that, we're going to drop off like a rock. Air temperatures, are going to be dropping into the teens again for Saturday. Beyond that, we're looking at single digits and perhaps below zero into the start of next week. Looking ahead with the future radar here, currently up in the UP, we do have some snow passing through the central part of the UP currently. That is round one, so to speak. And as I run this model through the evening tonight into Friday morning, round one moves in, we're going to say late tonight, but we're going to see kind of like a break at times, kind of like off and on snow in some areas overnight tonight. But by the time we get to sunrise tomorrow, round two, so to speak, moves in here for the lower part of Michigan. And by about that mid to late morning time frame, the entire state is engulfed in some lighter to perhaps moderate snowfall rates. This will continue all day, at least for the first half of the day. We should start to clear things out from southwest to northeast as the day goes on. But then the concern kind of turns to more lake effect snow squall in nature. So Friday evening in that West Michigan area, we could see some potent lake effect snow squalls that try to kick up some heavier snowfall rates for certain areas. That lake effect snow will continue through Friday evening as our system snow moves off. So be alert for snow squalls on Friday evening and Saturday morning. A bit of a break overnight into Saturday morning, but then lake effect likes to kick back up there. And Saturday morning, we have several more inches likely being added in lake effect snow for West Michigan and parts of the UP. So let's talk about what we're expecting when all is said and done here. Model between now and Saturday morning. Between now and 7 a.m. tomorrow, the UP inch or two of snow. We do have a couple areas that are pinpointing a bit higher amounts there. We're waking up, though. If you're on the east side of the state, not much impact there for schools or your drive to work just yet. On the west side of the state, though, we could have some slick roads with an inch of snow on the ground already. Always recall, snow is slippery, whether it's an inch or 10 inches, it's going to be slick out there. So moving this into the afternoon hours, we'll stop it here at noon. The moderate snowfall rates move in for a brief period of time. We add another inch or two of snow on top of that. By the time we get to about that 3 to 4 p.m. time frame, a nice widespread blanket of anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe 4 inches or so of snow for a lot of the state here. By the time we get to Friday evening, the only people in the state that do not have much of any snow is right down here by the Monroe County, Toledo area. You guys are only shown to get about a half inch of snow there. We'll see how that plays out. Otherwise, the entire state is blanketed in 1 to about 3 or 4 inches. In some cases, if you're in a lake effect or lake enhancement zone, could add about 5 or 6 inches if you're lucky. This snow will continue for lake effect belts overnight into Saturday morning. And there's a little bit more accumulation there for the western part of the UP, as well as really the central part of the UP as well, but also the West Michigan shoreline areas. We have some lake enhancement there. We could top 6 inches or so between now and Saturday afternoon. With the snow throughout Friday will be a little bit of blowing snow as well. Our wind gusts are shown to be right between 20 to 30 miles per hour or so. So it's going to be fine, light snow blowing around there. So expect there to be a little bit of reduced visibility, a bit of drifting, a little bit of blowing. But luckily, we're not getting a whole bunch of snow with it, but still enough to create some havoc on country roads if you are out and about on those roads. That wind will die off a little bit overnight into Saturday morning. That'll kick back up there for Saturday for anything snow squall-wise. Lake effect will continue to be gusty between 20 and 30 miles per hour there throughout that entire time frame. Now, that is not all we are discussing here. We are also looking at some very cold temperatures moving in over the long term. This is your actual air temperature. Excuse me. Get over the sickness still. Actual air temperatures as we push into next week will be quite cold in nature. Wind chills will be even worse. So here's Friday. We're going to see that Arctic air start to penetrate south from Canada. By the time we get to the weekend, here's air temperatures up in the UP below zero for some of you guys. Also take note, if you're in very far south Michigan, you are close to 5 to 10 degrees there as your actual air temperature to start Sunday. This will continue to be the case, and it gets worse as we move into the early to middle part of next week. We're going to start Monday off in the UP below zero. Again, these are actual air temperatures, not wind chills. But check out where we're at across the entire state here. We're at 1 to 5 degrees there for pretty much the entire state of Michigan Monday morning. Wind chills are going to be a lot worse than that. We'll get to that in a second. This cold air continues. By the time we get to Tuesday morning, pretty much the entire state is below zero for our actual temperatures. This continues. Wednesday looks to be a little bit of a break for a lot of us here. The UP, not so much. We're below zero still up there. But if you're down by the Lansing, Kalamazoo, Detroit area, you're lucky in the 20 degrees. Moving this into the middle part to end part of next week, that cold air just keeps hanging around, and we are going to be right around that 5 to 10 degree mark for a lot of time all over the course of next week. Now let's talk wind chills. Wind chills are what really matter because it's what our body perceives the temperature to be. So we're starting today off was really cold up there. We had negative 24 for our wind chill in Sault Ste. Marie tonight, or last night, should I say. We're going to be cold tonight as well. Overnight, we're going to be right around that 5 degree mark for our wind chills. We're focused in on the weekend into next week, though. Let's go ahead and zoom this in toward that Sunday night, Monday time frame. Here's Sunday. We'll pause it right here about Sunday at 6 p.m. Wind chills are below zero for a lot of the state, and here comes the worst of it. Here comes Monday, morning, 10 a.m. We are negative 15 to negative 25, maybe negative 30 below zero. This continues. Tuesday looks to be the worst of it. Tuesday morning, we're below zero still. We're negative 25 across a large area of the state. If you're in the UP, you're winning the lottery up there. Negative 32 being shown close to the Wisconsin border there. This continues. Wednesday, not much change there. Wednesday's kind of the warmer day there, but still 16 degrees is the highest I see on Wednesday, 1 p.m. Not too big of a difference. Thursday, much the same. It just continues to be very cold and dominate. And the models, if we really want to go out in the fantasy land, show even colder air coming in for next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. We are seeing temperatures, wind chills, should I say, that are being shown on this model between negative 40, negative 50 below, close to us here in Michigan. So quite a lot of cold air is coming, and that is all thanks to the pattern we're in. But also, if you are a winter lover, you're going to love this because we have several chances of snow. Now, let's move through the next 5 days, 10 days or so. Here comes our Clipper system. For tomorrow, we see a lot of widespread snow here pushing through the area. It's going to be a long duration. We're going to see some lake effect snow on a Saturday there. But then we get a bit of a break there for Sunday, but then not so fast. We have another Clipper system coming in for Sunday afternoon and evening. That could also kick up a few inches of snow for us. And then past that, we get a break for Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday time frame. But then more light snow moves in around that early to mid part of next week, and then it just keeps training over the exact same areas. And then by the time we get closer to the end of the month, the last week of the month, we start seeing signs of perhaps a bigger snowstorm taking shape somewhere in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast region. The pattern has been supportive of this for quite some time. Whether it shakes out for us to get a lot of snow in Michigan, or whether the Northeast coast does, or to the south, close to the Ohio Valley does, we don't know that yet. But the signal and the pattern is there. Snow is going to be here for a while. And it's also going to be coupled with some pretty Arctic air. So really, it's just winter. That's pretty much the takeaway from this briefing. Expect winter to last and really start hitting hard here over the next 10 to 15 days. European shows multiple systems in the long term here, most of them to our south and to our east. That's okay. If you want snow, there's still a lot of time for it to shift and change, so don't lose hope just yet. Overall pattern is supportive of it. GFS model is more supportive of Michigan snow here in the long term. I just showed you the European. This is the GFS model. We're seeing a lot of systems taking aim at the general area. Again, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast region. So with that said, snow, cold, next 10 to 15 days is pretty much certain and locked in at this point. Temperatures on a graph out of Lansing for the next 10 to 15 days. We do not see a day above freezing. What snow is out there right now is not going anywhere. So if you guys have plans to go sledding, get it done before it gets too cold. But the good news is it's not going to melt. So you have plenty of time to get out there and enjoy it. So what's coming ahead in the long term? I want to touch on the long term as well. This map, for those of you who are not familiar, this is temperatures, basically the average temperature. If it's below average, we're in the blue-green color. If we're above average, it's in that yellow, orange, red color. So currently, we are seeing temperatures to end the current time to the end of the middle of next week, should I say, 22nd of January. We're below average here. This pattern of below average temperatures continues. We see that cold stretch up coming. We see a little darker, kind of whitish color there showing up, indicating temperatures are going to be really below zero, or below average, should I say. But the takeaway here I'm seeing in the long term, we're into February now. This cold air sticks around until the start of February, perhaps the first week of February, before we start seeing a little bit of a change in the overall pattern here. But overall, we're not really seeing a significant flip to warmer than average until about that middle of February timeframe. Now, we're really far in advance here, so we're kind of taking with a grain of salt. But the overall pattern is very, very supportive of cold, and the long-term models are keying in on that as well, with no big shifts in that pattern until at least the first week of February. And also, to kind of highlight the active pattern here, this graph shows active systems. We call them heights anomalies. Anything showing up there in that blue color or green color, currently over the Great Lakes region now, that means we're active. As I move this out into the long term, it's just system after system after system after system being shown until we get into February, and all of a sudden we have that pattern flip and we're kind of drier at that point. But until we get to that time, we're active galore. So expect a lot of clipper systems, expect chances of some bigger systems as well mixed in there. Takeaway should be that. Last thing I'll touch on here, the CPC, the Prediction Center, the Climate Prediction Center, if I can slow down and speak English, has highlighted Michigan in a slight risk of heavy snow between January 23rd and January 29th, and that involves the entire state of Michigan. I think they're highlighting this because lake effect snow, but also we're seeing signs of that bigger system right around that time frame. We just don't know if it's going to hit us, northeast coast, go to the south of us. We don't know that yet, but it is a chance there around that last week of January. We're tracking something looming for that eastern half of the U.S. Also, between the 23rd and 29th, we have a risk of hazardous temperatures. We have a moderate risk for the UP. Everybody else in the Lower Peninsula has a slight risk for the hazardous temperatures. In particular, on the screen there, the dates. The slight risk is for the 23rd to 29th. The moderate risk is the 24th, 26th of the month. So, the last week of January looking quite interesting in terms of temperatures, and perhaps, maybe, just maybe, a bigger snowstorm or two. Fingers are crossed. I had a lot of questions in the chat as well over the past couple of days about our drought monitor, so I'll touch on this briefly for those of you who do care. That's what it looks like. We're clear of drought for quite a bit of the state. We are abnormally dry and yellow for a good chunk of the state, actually, but not considered a drought technically. The actual drought, moderate or severe drought, is very small. Detroit metro area and also the thumb region is what's being impacted the most right now by dry conditions. But overall, it has improved a little bit since the fall time. We talked about this a bit more during the warmer seasons. With that said, I've been rambling for about 20 minutes now. I will turn it over to Joel and or the comment sections for your guys' questions if you want to add or ask anything.
I've just been working on some forecast maps. We're going to have a last call map coming up later tonight. It'll probably be out either at 8 or 9 o'clock. So stay tuned on the page for that. It's, again, this last call map is going to be for Friday. There's what we currently have, the first call.
Yes.
And I'm working on a last call for Friday.
Any big changes?
A little bit of an expansion of the 2 to 6 zone a little bit further east. Okay. I have pretty much included, the entire state is in at least 1 to 3 for this event, for sure. Okay.
So not much change, more so to speak, but a little bit of expansion of the 2 to 6 sounds like. So we'll see it here in a second. I've yet to see it either. So we have Get to Memberships in chat here. I don't know who gifted it, though. Fun Times with 20 Get to Memberships. Thank you, Fun Times, for that. Appreciate your support. Evan gifting memberships as well. Thank you, Evan, for your support. Evan was just out chasing yesterday. We had a lot of fun on stream last night. I don't see any questions.
I can go back and get the other ones too.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm looking for questions here, so while you do that, I'll look for.
Gotcha. We got Robert back for month number 19 as an EF1 member on YouTube. Thank you very much. Saying thanks MSC team with the thumbs up emoji. Appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Supporting the team as always here, Robert. Evan with another 5 gift memberships over on YouTube for those who are subscribed, which is free to do. Jacob M, back for month number 15, saying keep up the great work as always, MSC. And lastly, Jabo underscore 28, joining the team as an EF1 member. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about real quick is the wind over the next couple of days, really the week or so. The wind chill is going to be a huge factor, but the winds themselves are going to gust between 20 and 30 at times. Certain areas, especially as we move toward the weekend time frame, could gust Sunday night, Monday morning, over 40 miles per hour. So we'll watch that more carefully, should I say. Also want to look for high wave action on Superior and Lake Michigan Sunday night and Monday morning. What is the likelihood of a snow day in southeast Michigan tomorrow? That's a good question. That is a really good question.
Really.
I do know from sources that we have behind the scenes that the roads across Metro Detroit are not great still. However, I do assume a lot of cities and municipalities have cleared their roads pretty well. 1 to 3 inches is not really a lot to close schools unless you're a rural district with icy roads. So it's kind of a toss-up, really. It's probably going to be a 50-50 shot for you guys, if I had to guess. I'm not an expert on that. I don't want to, give predictions or recommendations, but we'll see. Timing for snow tomorrow. I'll go ahead and walk you guys through hour by hour on the latest model here. We have snow right now in the UP. That's going to continue to push eastward here. Late tonight, we could see some snowflakes around that 10 to 11 p.m. time frame across West Michigan. It's not going to pick up, though, until we get closer to the morning time frame. So it kind of dies off there, kind of scattered snow showers, so to speak, to start your Friday. So it could accumulate in some areas, but won't be significant until that late morning time frame. A little bit more heavier, moderate to heavier snow moves in right around that 10 to 11 a.m. time frame there. As this moves in toward the noon time frame, the entire state's covered. After that noon time frame, things start to clear up from southwest to northeast. So by the time we get to about that 6 p.m. time frame, we're clearing that system snow, but then we have to keep a close eye for lake effect snow squalls that do try to ramp up behind it late Friday into Saturday morning. Joel, question for you in chat. Big Daddy asks, could this system overproduce? I'm assuming like the last one. A lot of people are asking that question.
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. A lot more moisture sticking around. I have to check the dendritic growth zone on this still. I'm currently working on the forecast at the current time, so still adjusting the values. Let me go ahead and check that real quick.
You got to understand, too, with winter, there's always potential with these systems to under and overachieve. The atmosphere is very fluid. It's never going to be... I don't want to say it's never going to be exact, because sometimes we get the forecast spot on. In fact, usually we get the forecast spot on. But there's always going to be that chance that something's off. And I think yesterday's a good example of that. JCB with a super chat says, just joined in, but there's snow total for the entire weekend or just for tomorrow. The map I was showing you guys was posted this morning. This is just for tomorrow. That's going to be a general 1 to 3 across much of the state. We may see isolated 4 in some spots. If you're in the lake effect belt over on the west side or in the UP, 2 to 6 is going to be the going rate there. Like Joel said, he's going to be posting a forecast updated here later on this evening to our social media accounts, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you are a member here on YouTube, you will be getting those subscriber forecasts from now on as well. So you'll be getting it first as well.
Looking at the soundings behind the scenes, the dendritic growth zone, which for those who don't know meteorological lingo, that is the zone where snowflakes, dendrites is what they're called, are most likely to form. It is higher up this time. So yesterday it was down towards 1 kilometer off the ground. This one's up closer to 3. So a lot more gap between where the snow is falling and how the distance between that and the ground. Additionally, much of the atmosphere is saturated below the first 3 kilometers, but I'm seeing temperatures that are suitable for perhaps some freezing rain, or I guess freezing drizzle mixing in with some of the snow as well. So these soundings kind of do show that might hinder overall snow totals. But again, you get a little bit of that freezing drizzle sticking around. That causes that snow to stick to it. And again, that creates a very icy surface for pretty much all roadways when you get especially towards Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So um, snow totals, small chance of overachieving. I would say more in the zone of patchy freezing drizzle popping up within the 1 to 3 statewide. Of course, if you're closer to the Lake Michigan, 2 to 6.
As a reminder as well, we did go ahead and put a scattered impacts for our travel impacts tomorrow. And that is in anticipation that we're going to have some slick conditions with the snow and some ice combining there. But also, we always take a more, I guess, serious or perhaps more aggressive tone on forecasts like this because in our experience here in Michigan, the most impactful travel events are the ones that are like 1 to 3 events of snow because people just don't think that 1 inch of snow is going to be that big of a deal, but yet it is. It's still slick out there. So the entire state, minus the central UP and parts of the northeastern lower peninsula, are in scattered impacts for our travel throughout tomorrow. Thank you, DeFortes, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. I can't English tonight. Thanks to your recommendation, I got the FEMA app, so I usually forward whatever alert I get. The FEMA app is great. The Red Cross emergency app is also good as well. Both apps are fantastic tools to have in your arsenal for alerting of weather alerts for your location. Fun Time says, I want to capture Aurora again. I miss doing that. So do I. We had a bit of a break since our last good viewing potential, but it's also permacloud season, so not many chances to see the Northern Lights. But the good news is there hasn't been a lot of activity, so we're kind of not missing out at the same time. I would say, if anything, Dale, for any school closings on the east side, I could see them doing early release. But to start the day tomorrow, you're not going to have much in the way of any snow. So unless your roads in your district are already bad from yesterday's snow, the chance that this new round comes in and makes things worse is very low for the morning. Most of it will happen after school begins.
Also looking at something here real quick. I'll see if I can have a solution on this in just a sec.
Solution on what?
Just some of the atmospheric profiles. So I just mentioned the fact that there could be some mixed freezing drizzle popping in. If this snow can start earlier, again, those overnight temperatures tonight are going to dip down into the teens and right around the teens, closer to zero at some points. Especially I'm looking across eastern Michigan where we did see the overperformance of snow yesterday. Those temperatures, the entire temperature profile is below the freezing drizzle line in the morning hours. So if that snow can move in early, it will be dealing with temperatures between 0 and 15 degrees, which is the threshold for that DGZ, meaning you could see some overachieving as early as your morning commute. It's going to be a very fine line. It's not guaranteed, but I am looking at it right now because as we get into the afternoon, those daytime temperatures warm up. The bottom kilometer of the atmosphere changes from, 15-ish degrees up to about 25, 27, 28 degrees, and even close to 30 tomorrow for some locations. And that area between 15 and 30 degrees, that's more suitable for freezing drizzle to mix in. So we can start early. Eastern Michigan, I would say, could overperform early on. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Joel, apparently we lost a Facebook stream again for some reason. I just restarted it, but it's having trouble sending.
Looks like we're back.
You had to restart for some reason. I do apologize to you guys on Facebook. We've been having some issues with our software with connecting to Facebook. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We'll look into it. Also, I'll take it as a reminder to remind you guys, we are on 4 platforms streaming. So if Facebook does go down, We're on YouTube, we're on X, and also on Twitch. So you can always come find us on other platforms as well. JCB with a super chat says, "Is Radar Scope a good app if you just want to view a radar?" Yes. Highly recommend Radar Scope for you guys. It is the simplest radar software to use. Granted, there's still a learning curve there. You have radar, you have velocity, you have a lot of these extra tools you probably guys don't need, but just for radar, it is a fantastic tool to use. Yeah, a lot of our chasers use Radar Scope actually while they're chasing. I know I do. For those of you on Facebook, I do not know what happened. We just dropped and we came back, so I apologize. But we are still here.
Friendly reminder, Facebook is not really built for live streaming.
Yeah. We've had so many issues with Facebook. It's unfortunate. But it's our most followed platform, so we're not gonna leave you guys. That's not the intention. We just have to deal with the limitations of the app. Any other questions, guys? While you guys are asking your questions, feel free to drop them in chat. I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of the day here. It is A-Class, construction and restoration based out of Mason County. For construction, restoration, or roofing needs, number on your screen is 833-298-ROOF. Thank you to A-Class for being a sponsor here, and they are back for 2026. We're happy to have them back. See you, Robert. No problem, Chris. Snow will begin in Lansing as early as about 2 a.m. or so, but it should be light in nature. The more moderate snowfall rates come a little bit later on in the morning, closer to 9, 10, 11 a.m. But it still could impact your morning commute, as Joel was just talking about a little bit ago, in some capacity. But we'll see how much of that snow will reach the ground, and perhaps maybe some of it will fall as freezing drizzle. Just a bit of it. We'll have to kind of play it by ear. The start of February, Joshua, could be a bit drier based on models now, but it's also 2+ weeks out, so there's some things that could change. We do have signals that we're going to switch to a pattern to more perhaps warmer and a little bit drier in nature. But when we go past 2 weeks or so, models like to sometimes keep pushing that out and pushing it out and pushing it out. So it may be 3 weeks or 4 weeks out. But the overall pattern shift is right there around that mid-month time frame, or should I say the start of the month of February. Forecast for snow, widespread 1 to 3 for the entire state. Lake effect belts could see isolated higher amounts. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Isolated higher amounts are possible, like 4 inches or so in some spots. But if you're in a lake effect belt, 2 to 6 is going to be the going total. If you're in the western part of the UP, 4 to 8 is the total there. We'll have another update forecast for you guys coming out later this evening. I think Joel's working on it right now. So stay tuned to the page here. It'll probably be up, I have to imagine, before 9 o'clock, Joel.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm currently debating changing that cyan category to 1 to 4 just because east side of the state, a lot of that, our short-term model runs are showing kind of just barely sneaking over 3, especially in the thumb region there. So I think a safe bet will probably be 1 to 4 for the thumb, especially where you see the cyan. And then 2 to 6, especially across central Michigan where Ryan circled there. But yeah, I'm really watching that early morning or that mid morning time frame before it warms up into the afternoon for the thumb.
Yeah, we're close
and the east side of the state.
We're close to 4 inches there in the thumb regions, so Not a bad idea. Oh, Jillian, just wait until we get to the end of the month. We'll have a lot more than 1 to 4 across the state. I can promise you that. We'll have a lot more chances coming up. Yes, it is possible to have a drought in the wintertime. It is certainly possible.
It's ongoing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get too much of that moisture seeping in until we get a big thaw. Otherwise, it's for the most part running off. Fills those lakes, though, that's for sure.
Any other questions, guys? It's been live for about 40 minutes or so. I don't see many questions rolling in, so if we are not needed, we are going to hop off and start making forecasts. We'll give the last minute or two here for some questions to roll in. In the meantime, I'll roll through our sponsors who have... I can't English tonight. Our sponsors help us keep operations rolling, and they also provide services to you guys in the event you happen to need their services. We have StormGuard Roofing and Construction out of Metro Detroit, Katz Roofing out of the Potterville, Lansing area, Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding out of the Thumb region, McKay Tree Specialist out of Southeast Michigan, Kuiper Tree Care in West Michigan, On Top Roofing across Southeast Michigan, Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors in West Michigan, A-Class Construction Restoration, our spotlight sponsor of the day in Mason County, 833-298-ROOF for restoration, construction, or roofing needs. Rainbow Restoration of West Michigan, Kent County surrounding areas. Guardian Technologies, our Skycam sponsor. We are excited for the year ahead for more weather camera installs. Thank you to Guardian for providing those to us. Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor. American Arbor in Southwest Michigan. Clear Plow Snow Pushers for a unique way to push snow without breaking your back. Apex Restoration out of Grand Blanc. And lastly, RMHC House of Detroit. Feel free to donate to their cause by calling the number on your screen or visiting their website. Thank you to all these sponsors who help keep operations rolling here at MSC. Most of these guys, in fact, all of the ones I just listed, are coming back for the year ahead of us. So we are glad to have all of them back. All right. Any last questions that I did not see roll in here? I will do timing one more time for you guys who are asking about travel conditions and stuff like that. So I'll run through the model one more time. All right, let's do this one more time. Here is the future radar. We are currently at 7 p.m. Right now, we have snow in the UP. It is ongoing, so the model is spot on with it so far. Here's 9 p.m. tonight. Here's 10 p.m. By about 11 p.m., we could see some snowflakes up there by Traverse City, Manistee, Ludington areas. Here's midnight. 1, 2, and 3 a.m. We could see some light snow there falling around the 127 corridor, Lansing, Coldwater, Mount Pleasant region. Now, as Joel was mentioning a little bit ago, this may fall a little bit as freezing drizzle. We'll keep an eye on that just in case. But right now, it's going to be snow. Here's 5 a.m. Light snow will move into southeast Michigan there by about the commute time frame. 6, 7, 8 a.m. A bit of a break there, and then moderate snow moves in. This is going to be where it starts accumulating a little bit more so faster. 10, 11, noon, and then by about the noon time frame, we start clearing things out from southwest to northeast here. There's 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. We're clearing the entire state, but then lake effect snow squalls kick in behind it. So we could have some brief shots of snow at times for parts of Michigan as the snow potential squalls move through. And then lake effect will kick up for West Michigan, the UP, Friday night and Saturday morning. When all said and done, a nice widespread coating of 1 to 4 inches is expected. lake effect areas could get more than that, or the UP as well. Joel has the latest forecast coming out. Be posted as soon as he's done making it, I have to imagine, on the page. So feel free to stay tuned into the page tonight to keep an eye out for the latest forecast. With that being said, you guys can go back and rewatch it. Thank you, Sarah, for that reminder. You can rewatch this stream by rewinding it on YouTube, X, and Twitch. On Facebook, though, it's in 2 parts because Facebook, for some reason, just glitched out in the middle of the stream. So there's 2 streams on Facebook that's just kind of hanging around there. So the first one will have the intro, and then the second one will have the ending of it. All right. With that being said, we are going to roll on out of here. Anything you want to say, Joel?
Not really. Just make sure to follow along. Again, if you're only a YouTube subscriber, make sure you're following us on at least Instagram, X, or Facebook for all of our physical forecast posts. And of course, as always, if you're over on Facebook, make sure you're at least following us on YouTube, Twitch, or X for live streams. Because again, Facebook does like to play a little bit of a finicky game in terms of cutting out for us. So YouTube, X, or Twitch, we're also live on. Go ahead and roll it.
We have a super chat from Fun Times. Says, thank you to all the mods, chasers, Joel, and Ryan for keeping us informed and safe throughout the crazy seasons of Michigan. Thank you, Fun Times, for that. We are happy to be here, and we are happy to be here another year. So appreciate your guys' support of us. We appreciate you so much. All right. I believe that's everything I have to go. Yep. All right. We're going to roll the outro now. We'll catch you guys. Let's do another briefing. What do you think? Sunday? Do a briefing on Sunday at some point? Maybe. We'll see.
Probably.
Just for the kicks
We'll
of
talk
it.
about it.
We'll see you guys soon. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a video on YouTube, though. If you're on a subscriber on YouTube, I'll be doing daily videos here throughout the weekend. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow on the YouTube flip side. With that said, enjoy your evening. Stay safe out there if you're on the roads throughout the day tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.